has he, and this I am commanded. I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the king, and there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I do confess my faults. So please grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee. And guide me unto the best of morals, for none guides unto the best of morals but thee. And turn away from me Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful, who came to us, the black man and woman, here in America, in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his divine servant and messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet our listeners, our viewers, once again in the greeting words of peace and paradise in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us, whoever you are. If you're on the East Coast, the West Coast, the North, or the South, for our what is called Muhammad's Sunday Lectures. These lectures are brought to you by Muhammad's Temple of Islam United. We are a group of brothers and sisters who are members of the Nation of Islam. Declared by Master Farad Muhammad when he came here and revealed himself in 1930. He declared every black man and woman here in America as the lost, found Nation of Islam. So we thank you for being with us. We reach out to all our brothers and sisters, whether you are a Muslim, if you're a Christian, if you're agnostic or atheist or Hebrew, Israelite, whatever you are, if you don't have no religion or no belief in anything, if you're just from the street, we invite you to listen to us this afternoon. We are going after a subject which is very important, which was introduced to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The title of this subject is Understand Self. But before we go into our subject, we always open up in the Muslim opening prayer. So we ask each and every one of you to join us today. So whatever God you believe in, whatever faith that you have, we are just asking you humbly to join us in the Muslim opening prayer. And this prayer, I think you can relate to. So let us, we have our hands stretched out like this as we are seeking something, and we bow our heads. Surely I have turned myself to thee, O Allah, trying to be upright, to he who has originated the heavens and the earth, and I'm not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associates has he, and this I am commanded. I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, and there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I do confess my faults. So please grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee. And guide me unto the best of morals, for none guides unto the best of morals but thee. And turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals, for none turned away the evil and the indecent morals but thee. And O Allah, make Muhammad successful, and the true followers of Muhammad successful, as thou did make Abraham and the true followers of Abraham successful, for surely thou art praised and magnified. And O Allah, bless Muhammad and the true followers of Muhammad, as thou did bless Abraham and the true followers of Abraham, for surely thou art praised and magnified in thy midst. I mean, brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us. And again, we invite you, we thank you for taking your time. We ask you to call a relative or a family member, call a friend and ask them to join you in listening to Muhammad's Sunday Lectures. I believe what we have to say will be life-saving and life-generating for each and every one of you. And I can say we could never, those of us who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, thank him enough for raising up in our midst a leader, a teacher, and a guide in the person of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, brothers and sisters, in this day and time, the great opposition that we have with black people in America, we need a savior. We need a guide. We need a teacher. We need someone to help us be able to understand what is happening to us and what the enemy is trying to do. When we were brought here from Africa, over nearly 460 years ago, every day, every hour, every minute, every second that we have been here as black people, it's been an effort to destroy us, to kill us, to wipe us out. But all praises are due to Allah. You cannot destroy the black man and woman. We are from everlasting to everlasting. You cannot destroy us. You may try, but you cannot do that because Allah, God, has declared us an everlasting people. We might lose some in this great journey. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he never promised us that we would not lose some of our soldiers, our black men and women in our journey for freedom, justice, and equality. He said, but in the end, we will be the winner. We will, in fact, be the winner. All praises is due to Allah. Now, I want to make a declaration, a disclaimer, because there are people that are going around, and particularly in the Islamic world, and even others outside of the Islamic world, that claim that the members or the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad are not true Muslims. There are even some Muslims are saying that we are not true Muslims. Now, what do you mean we're not real Muslims? Who determines if we are not or if we are real Muslims? Who gives you, brothers and sisters, the authority to determine who's a real Muslim? Because Allah, God, created each and every one of us in the nature in which he created man. It says that in the 30th chapter, in the 30th verse of the Holy Quran. He created each and every one of us in the nature of Islam, in the nature of truth. Now, we can stray away. We can get off track. But God, in his mercy, in his beneficence, created each and every one of us, brothers and sisters. And for any of you to say that you are the real Muslim and we are not, that is unjust. That is wrong. I remember I had a dentist, Dr. Juja. He was from India or Pakistan, excuse me. And I was telling him that I was a Muslim. And he said, "You are Muslim?" I said, "Yes, I am Muslim." He said, "Well, I was born Muslim." He said, you born Muslim?" I said, "No, I accepted Islam." He said he was trying to indicate that he was a real Muslim and I wasn't a Muslim. He said, "Well, I'm born Muslim." I said, "I'm a Muslim by nature." And he kind of shook up. He never heard that before. I said, "You were born a Muslim, but I'm a Muslim by nature." That kind of shook him up because he began to tell me that when he was in Pakistan during the time of prayer, which was 4 or 5 times a day, he would run and hide because he didn't want to participate. I said, that's not, look us. I said, we love Islam. We invite prayer in the remembrance of Allah. There are some members of the Nation of Islam, and I don't want to get you brothers and sisters that are listening that may not understand, that are saying that some of the groups here and there are not true Muslims, or not the real followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That is wrong, brothers and sisters. Don't do that. Because God came for each and every one of us. You know, as a young Muslim, I had some misunderstanding about the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I was kind of narrow-minded, kind of headstrong, kind of with some kind of thoughts. But now that I have matured, and now I see life differently, and I invite all of our people to Islam. And I recognize that we are all members of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. What he offered us was what God offered him. You understand? So you don't have no authority to say who's a true follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You don't have no authority to say who's a true Muslim. Well, you say, well, you don't have a University of Islam, so you're not teaching or practicing the true teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Some of you say, well, you don't do 5 times a day the Muslim prayer. Some of you say, well, you don't have a temple. Some of you say, well, you don't give in charity. Let me tell you something. The hypocrite can get a temple. Oh, yes. The hypocrite can pay charity. Okay? The hypocrite can do all those things. I'm going to tell you what we used to do under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the Nation of Islam prior to 1975. We would have informers that would come in the temple. We would have people that were in there giving information to the white man about what we were saying and what we were doing. And the ministers at the time said, yeah, we know you're here. We know some of you informers are in here. We know some of you provocateurs are in here. You know? But the minister would say, sometimes Malcolm would say it. Sometimes Minister Farrakhan would say it. Or Minister Jeremiah would say it. Or Minister John Muhammad in Chicago would say it. He said, well, if the informers in here, he said, work their behinds. He said, let them sell 100 Muhammad Speak newspapers. You understand? He said, work their behind to death. He said, you want to inform for the white man? You're a hypocrite in here? We will work you to death. We will have you on posts all day. We will send you out in the street selling the Muhammad Speak newspaper. We will have you on all kind of details. We will work you to death and run you out of here. And some of the informers, let me say, yes, they were in there listening for the white man, and after they heard them teachings, we converted them because they didn't understand and they didn't know what they would be hearing when they were sent in by the white man. And we would convert them, and they will become more committed than some of us that were already in there. Because once you hear the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the truth rolls in your brain and goes in the deep recesses of your mind and your brain cells, it awakens you and you become a true believer. All praises are due to Allah. So don't say that. With what's happening to us here in America, we need to be together. And then we will talk about, because Allah says in the Quran, I am the judge of that which you differ. And one day we will get into that, because we don't believe in no spooks. Somebody's going to come down and sit in some type of circle or seminar and sort out our differences. We'll talk about that one day. Now, in the Holy Quran, this is the book that we will study. It is called the Holy Quran. In the 16th chapter, in the 36th verse, to tell you that we who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad believe in him. We believe that he met with God, and God taught him for 3.5 years. Now here, let's get into this. 16th chapter. Okay, here we go. Give me a second or two here, brothers and sisters. The 16th chapter, here we go. The 16th chapter in the 36th verse. Let me tell you what it says. And certainly we raised every nation a messenger. I'll repeat that. And certainly we raised every nation, a messenger, saying, serve Allah and shun the devil. Then of them was he whom Allah guided, and of them was he whose remaining in error was justly due. Surely travel in the land, then see what was the end of the rejectors. So here is saying, brothers and sisters, that Allah raised in every nation a messenger, a warner, a prophet. Do you mean we as black people in the messenger in America are not worthy of a messenger? We are not worthy of God looking upon us? I know the world looks at us as nothing. They call us niggas. They call us nothing. They show us on videos. Our women are shaking their behind and twerking. Our men are on the streets, look, and they describe us as thugs and murderers and killers. But that's not who we are. That's what we became after the white man brought us from Africa to America and made us in that position and condition. But that's not what God has for us. So we declare, brothers and sisters, certainly Allah raised a messenger to all nations, and we are a nation of black people. Whether you agree with that or not, stop it. Stop it. And we are going on with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad until we die. Okay? This is not an attack on anyone. This is just making something clear and plain. Praise be to Allah. Now, I just also wanted to mention that in the Holy Quran, in the 30th chapter, 30th verse, it says Allah created man in the nature of himself. That is the paraphrase. He created us. Let me say it clearly so there won't be any confusion. It says that, surely set thy face for religion. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said Islam is not a religion. He said it is the truth. It is the nature in which man was created, but it was presented as a religion. It says, being upright, the nature made by Allah, which he has created man. Each and every one of us, and this includes women too, were created in the nature of God. So don't take that from us. Whatever you are doing, brothers and sisters, do what you do. We don't want to criticize you. But we're going to speak the truth. But we're not to condemn you and try to go after you and hurt your feelings. We don't do that. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad never taught us to do that. He loved our people. Every year I went to Chicago to see him at our Savior's Day convention. He never, ever condemned us. He knew that we weren't the best of people at that time. He knew that we had a lot of that slave mentality, but he lifted us up and said, get up, black man. Get up, black woman. Do something for yourself. Stop sitting down. He said, God has come for you, and I come to give you or bring you face to face with God in person. All praise is due to our Lord. So, thank you, brothers and sisters. I just wanted to introduce that because that's on my mind. Now, let's get into our subject. A month or so ago, I taught a couple of subjects. The first one was do for self, because of the climate that we're in, the time that we're in. See, once you recognize the time that you're in, you have to deal accordingly in the time that you're living. So we said do for self. Donald Trump, his administration, they're cutting all kind of programs, taking all kind of incentives. DEI, they're taking all kind of affirmative action programs, laying people off, deporting people. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us over 60 years ago. He said there will be a time that the white man will put you out and put you down. And then if you don't do something for self, you will suffer the consequences. And that's what's happening now. We have enough money, we have enough skills, we have enough intelligence to do everything for ourselves. So I taught the subject, do for self. But I said in the next subject, in order to do for self, you have to love self. Of course, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, he said that our greatest handicap is that we don't have love for ourselves. We attack each other. We have no unity. And because we don't have unity, it comes from the fact that we don't love ourselves. And the reason why we don't love ourselves is because we don't understand who we are. The greatest gift, the greatest knowledge that you can have is the knowledge of self. Who are you, black man? Who are you, black woman? And do you understand the time that you're living in? Okay? You can't hate yourself and do something for yourself. You can't love yourself until you understand yourself. So who are you? I remember I must have been maybe 8 or 9 years old. I used to stand in the bathroom and look in the mirror. I would say, who are we? What are we? Where do we come from? How do we get hands? Why do we have eyes? Why do we go to sleep at night? Why do we eat? Why do we go to the bathroom? I was just so curious about where do we come from? And would this last what we are in forever? You have to know who you are and understand who you are in order to do for self and love self. There were 3 major things that the white man did not teach us when they so-called, and I say that with an emphasis, when they so-called freed us from slavery. They never taught us the knowledge of, or the science of finance, how to organize things in a way that would produce greater wealth. Never taught us that. They freed us, so we had to do whatever we had to do in any way that we could in order to finance our freedom. They never taught us the science of warfare, which means how do you, when you have something, how do you protect it? Do you have a mechanized army? Do you have a regiment of men and women that know how to fight and are ready to die to protect that which we have? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad set up 2 units. One called the Fruit of Islam, the name given to the military men, the military training of men, who belonged to Islam in North America. And that unit was not, it wasn't no that knock you in your mouth and drag you and knock you down and flip you with our karate or judo. That's not, it was to protect that which we have. Organized. And the Fruit of Islam that I was a member of since I was about 15 or 16 years old are fearless men and women who take care of their families and children, religious men, faithful men. And he set up a counterpart called the MGT and the GCC, the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class. These are the women of Islam who learn how to cook, who how to sew, how to keep a home, how to raise their children, how to take care of their families, and are productive and are loving and not hoes and bitches and all those kind of things. Nah! This is what God put together. And he didn't teach us the science of mating. That's why your relationships are all messed up, upside down. You can't stay married. You get married one day, the next day you're divorced. Some of you had 3, 4, 5 wives in different times. You got children running all over the place. Some of you walk down the street, you look, some of the little children walking around, they look just like you. Be going, is that one of mine? You don't even know. Was I with her mother? And some of you sisters, you got different men coming in and out of the homes because we didn't understand the science of mating. You don't pick no man because he drives a BMW or he drives a Mercedes Benz. You don't pick a man because he is a tough guy on the block, he's a hustler, a drug dealer. No. You pick a man because he can protect you. A man that loves you. A man that can make sure you have a home and that your community is safe and clean. And sister, you don't pick, and brothers, you don't pick a man because she has big breasts and big hips and that she's wearing all kind of makeup and, you know, long nails and pretty hair and all those kind of things. Nah. You have to understand how things are put together. Mate. Science. Another subject for another time. But one of the other things that is not mentioned sometimes, he never taught us the knowledge of self. Who we were. So this is why you hear us taking on all kinds of titles and names. They called us Negroes. They called us niggas, coons, shines, spooks, jigaboos, jungle bunnies. Now today we have all kind of names. Some of us call ourselves Black Hebrews. Some of us call ourselves Sunni Muslim. Some will call ourselves Moorish Science. Some of us call ourselves Christians. And in the Christian religion, we got many denominations in that. Some brothers call ourselves Crips and Bloods. Some of us call ourselves Pentecostal. We got all these names, but who are we? Who are we? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that when he met Master Farad Muhammad, and recognized that was Allah in person, he said that we are the original people of the earth, and we came with the beginning of time, and that you cannot measure or find our very beginning. He said we are older than the sun, moon, and stars. This is true. They said we've been here billions and trillions of years, and you cannot even measure that. The subject is understand self. Now, what does the word understand mean? Understand means to receive intended meaning of words, language, to interpret a view or idea. I'll read that again. To understand. To receive an intended meaning of words, language, to interpret a view or idea. So when you understand, you have to begin to think clearly. Because You can't arbitrarily jump up and say, oh, I know this here. Understanding comes through time, study, and analyzing. Okay? Now, in understanding, you have to comprehend. You have to comprehend the concept of that which you are studying or learning. In the Spanish word comprende, comprende, which means steep in the root of a history of a word to understand that. You have to go to the root in order to have a comprehensive understanding. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we will not be able to go to our own unless we have a thorough knowledge of self. You may have, you got to understand everything. I don't want to know everything. I'm just 20 years old, 30 years old. No, to have a fundamental understanding, basics. That's basics thing. If something I don't know, I share with my brother. If there's something my sister knows, she will share it with me. That is getting something thoroughly, okay? Now, what is self? Because if you ask the average black person and said, who are you? They'll probably give you their government name. My name is William James. My name is Freddie Johnson. Or my name is Jennifer Simmons. Or something like that. They're giving you the name that the slave master gave them. But who are you? What is your nature? What is your purpose as an individual and as a nation? You must understand self in order to be able to deal with that. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when Master Fard Muhammad began to teach him, he said he didn't force it on him. He said he gave it to him. He offered it to him. And he said he accepted it. This is why we say, as followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, accept your own and be yourself. Accept willingly, because you cannot force people to do that which they don't want to do. Then what you got is someone that you made do something and not a willing subject. Okay? You cannot do for self. You cannot love self unless you understand yourself. See, Islam, which is the nature of God, the very essence of God, and the word Islam means peace. Every species in life seeks peace. I don't care who you are, where you come from, even the animals, even the insects. They don't understand cognitively about peace, but they want to be safe. And safety means being at peace. Let me say what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us in his great book, Message to the Black Man. And we always tell everyone, get a copy of Message to the Black Man in America, which means also the message to the black woman in America. Get a copy. Go wherever you have to go, but get a copy. Whether you go on Amazon or you know someone that has it, reach out to us. We'll make sure you get a copy. Now, in Message to the Black Man on page 34, the chapter entitled Understand Self, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, there is much misunderstanding among us, meaning the black men and women, because our inferior knowledge of self. We have been in schools where they do not teach us the knowledge of self. We have been in the schools of our slave masters' children. We have been in their schools, gone as far as they allow us to go, that not enough of us learn the knowledge of self. The lack of the knowledge of self is one of the main handicaps of the black man and woman. See, we have waited for the white man to teach us who we are. He's not going to teach you that. I understand today that they are removing in the public school systems, which many of our children attend. You know, in the urban cities of America, we represent the majority of the population in the public school system, our children. And they don't teach our children the knowledge of self. They don't do that. They said they're removing all kind of books. They never really taught us. I didn't learn the history of my people in public school. I had to come to the Nation of Islam before I even knew that. They used to have what was called Brotherhood Week. And they would have all kind of different hands, white hand, black hand, yellow hand, green hands. And that was supposed to have been brotherhood. And we were always taught that we were slaves. We go back so far, brothers and sisters. Never let them do that. Let them take every book about us out of the schools. Either you have to fight if you're the population in the school. If you're the majority, you have to fight to keep those books there. Or if they take them out, teach your children at home. But they'll get the actual knowledge of self and the knowledge of our history at home than they would in the public schools. The knowledge of self. One of the main things before you get knowledge of any other information about yourself, in the book of Genesis, it tells us who we are and where we come from. This is the Bible. In fact, this is the Hebrew Bible. You know, that is really the beginning. The first book is the Hebrew Bible. See, not the King James Version, but the Bible, the original Bible, was in Arabic or Hebrew. See, there's some words in Arabic, there's some words in Hebrew that you cannot transliterate into English. You just can't do it. There's no words in English to describe the very essence or the root of the word that is found both in the Holy Quran or in the Bible. But we do our best because our Honorable Elijah Muhammad helped us interpret the Bible, which he said is a poison book. There's some truth in this. So in the book of Genesis, the word Genesis comes from the word gene. The genes of our body are our basic foundation or building blocks of our very essence. Okay? But in the book of Genesis, which is the beginning, the word gene, Genesis means the beginning. In the first chapter, in the 27th verse, it says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." Number one, showing you that we come from the very essence of God. He created us in his image, and he created us in his likeness. If something is like you, then it's just like you. You look in the mirror, you have an image. That's you. If you look in the nature of God, you're looking at yourself. The likeness is the same as you. This is why when you see a man, and he showed you his child, he said he looked just like you because he's nothing but you all over again. That's your son. That's you. Same with a woman. You see that little girl? Oh, girl, that little girl look just like she's in. You spit her out because she is you. So we come from God and we are God. This is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, every day the black man, if you're looking at the black man, you're looking at God. Because we come from God. I know some of you don't like that. You said, how y'all be God and all the stuff y'all be doing? The black people in the street, them niggas that robbed me last week, they're God? You mean the cat that beat up his wife? You know, the dude that shot the dude in the head, the cat in the head on the south side on 71st Street in Chicago? You mean that dude that cut the throat of that woman on 125th Street? That's God? See, this is why it's important that you understand who you are and things, how things happen. You are not that. That's what we have become. When we were living in peace and tranquility, we didn't have that kind of confusion because we were living in the nature of God. And the nature of God is peace, and we had peace among us. This is why it's important that you study and understand who you are, brothers and sisters. Understand self. You have to understand us as a nation, and you need to understand us, or yourself, I should say, your individual self. We'll talk about that in a minute. Just bear with me a few more minutes, brothers and sisters. We're going to move so we can come to our conclusion. See, everything in life has to have the understanding of what they are and their purpose in life. The lower life, the ants, even though they don't have a brain like ours, they understand instinctively. I use that word understanding because you can't really apply it to them, but they have what you call an instinct. So they work according to the nature and the understanding of who and what they are. So you see the ants building ant hills, and they're bringing food into their environment, and they come around the queen ant, and they're perpetuating their life so they can survive, because they understand instinctively who and what they are. The tigers in the jungle, they understand their nature instinctively. They know who they are, and they work towards that which they are according to the nature of who they are and that which they understand. Look at the birds. In the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, not only do you have to understand who you are, you have to understand the time in which you are living. Once you understand who you are, then you have to understand the time and what must be done. Let me give you a for instance. This is why nature is so beautiful. I love to study the nature of life when you look at the birds, the animals, you look at the environment. Look at the birds when winter time comes. Around September, October, the birds fly south because they know the winter is coming. They know the time in which they are living. So they fly south because in the south, the climate is much warmer for them to survive. And then they reverse that once it becomes warmer in the north. You understand? You have to understand the time in which you're living in. When there's a hurricane about to happen, if there's a storm or an earthquake about to happen, all the animals begin to, days before, they can feel it in their very bones, and they head to the hills. They head to higher ground because they understand who they are and the time in which they are living. So it allows them to go higher ground because once the water reaches a certain level, it reaches its level, and they are above that level where they can survive. So we as black people, we have to understand the time in which we live. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad had a subject called the time and what must be done. This is why the Holy Quran also teaches us about time. In the 103rd chapter of the Holy Quran, here we go, 103rd chapter, bear with me. It is called the time, El-Asr. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. By the time, surely man is in loss. Surely means definitely he's in loss. Except those who believe and do good and exhort one another to truth and exhort one another to patience. Opposite words here. By the time, you have to understand the time you're in. If you understand yourself, then you must understand the time that you're living in so you can work accordingly to that time. Surely man is at loss. When you're lost, you're looking, you're seeking, you're trying to find your way. We are human beings. We are creatures of different kinds of appetites, different kinds of responses. But the ultimate goal is to seek peace. But you have to understand the time, but you have to understand who you are. Understand self. But it says, except those who believe and do good. You got to do good. You have to, do those things that are right and good for yourself and your people as black people in America. We know everything is against us. We know the time you're living in. Stop seeking the white man's approval. Stop seeking to live next to him, seeking to be like him. Accept your own and be yourself, black man and woman. Seek the truth. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, truth shall make you free. And exhort one another to patience. We're not patient with each other, brothers and sisters. We want everything instantly. We go to the fast food place called the fast food. Give me that burger. I want it here and I want it now. You don't want to wait. You don't have the kind of consonance and the patience, because patience, as they say, is a virtue that not everyone can claim. We want everything quick and fast. And haste makes waste. Of course, you have to understand that. God came to give us the knowledge of self. And we as a people, brothers and sisters, need to understand ourselves. Now, who are you as an individual? All right, we can understand. See, we are living in a time right now that a lot of things are against us as a people. What we have in common is that we are all black people in America. Regardless of who you are, what group you belong to, because when the white man looks at you, he don't say that you're with this group. He don't say that you're a Hebrew, you're a Muslim, you're a Christian. Well, he will kill you regardless of what you got on. I don't care who you are. We've been here in America long enough to know how he thinks. He's not foreign to us. We know his attitude. And some of you brothers and sisters that are of another culture, some of you say, well, I'm a Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Mexican. You see what they're doing to the Mexican brothers and sisters in New York City where I live? They're rounding them up like they're wild, like they got a golden corral. That's right. Yeah. Some of you say, no, I'm not black. You blacker than 10 million midnights. Your skin is darker than me. Your hair is kinky. Your nose is thick, broad, and your lips are thick. Why, you ain't nothing but a black man. I don't care what you call yourself. You can deny yourself by looking in the mirror, but when you look in that mirror, you know what you're looking at. Our brothers and sisters from Africa, it's a shame what President Trump did to that brother, the president of South Africa. Try to trip the brother up. This is why I love the brother in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré. He's a Muslim, yeah. Ibrahim, the commander In fact, I met his predecessor, Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara. I met him over 30 years ago. You know, he was assassinated. America had something to do that. White America was involved in the assassination of Thomas Sankara. And some of you may say, oh, Brother Hop, why are you saying that State Department might come and get you? Let them come and get me. They're going to put you in jail. Well, we're already in jail. America is a jail. You're in prison in your mind. They don't want that brother, Ibrahim Traoré, who the French colonized his country. They used to call it Upper Volta, but they changed the name back to its original name, Burkina Faso. Okay? So, you have to understand the times that you're living in and what they're doing to us. But you have to understand who you are as a vendor. Who are you as an individual? You can't hide among the collective. You have to distinguish yourself. Some of us have great skills, and you have to recognize that skill. You might be someone that's a great communicator. You might be someone that can fix cars, put things together, a great carpenter. Some of you are into art. Some of our sisters could sing like beautifully. Some of us have the great ability to start businesses and create finance and enterprise. Study yourself. Find out who you are. Stop being something that you're not. You're trying to do something that has nothing to do with you. This is why many of our brothers and sisters are in corporate America, and they're on those jobs and they are unhappy. They hate what they're doing. You ever go to a public service agency, and the brothers and sisters, you go to the counter and they are so nasty, they're so disrespectful. What you want? Didn't I just tell you? Go sit down. You know why they're doing it? Because they hate their job and they don't have understanding of self. But you have to know your purpose in life and who you are. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said God came to him, met him in person, not a spook, not a spirit, but a real live human being. All throughout both the Bible and the Quran, it teaches the coming of God and the gathering of his people. If he's coming, if God is omnipotent, God is omnipresent and he's everywhere, then how could he come from someplace? It's not, see, we use those terms coming, but he's always here. We only use that to dignify or certify that he wasn't in your mind. He was always here. You just didn't see him. He was in plain sight, but he was unknown to you. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, God raised him up to bring you face to face with God. And God gave us one of the greatest teachings, the truth of Islam. And don't tell us that we are not real Muslims. You know how you identify a true believer in God? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a true believer in God walks humble in the earth. He's not boastful. She's not self-centered. And the greatest quality of a true Muslim is to want for your brother and sister that which you want for yourself. If you don't have that in your heart, you will never be a true Muslim or a true Christian or a true human being. Look at the suffering of the Palestinian people in the Gaza. I can't even watch that. Me and my wife, we be watching it. I turn. I can't watch it. Little babies, heads blown off, arms dislocated, women having have no place to live at night. It gets cold. They have no food. Disease is running rampant. How do you sit and do that to human beings? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the European white man, the Caucasian white man, is cold-blooded. He said Caucasian means, Master Fard Muhammad taught him, weak-boned, weak-blooded, wicked and stale-faced. They have no heart. But you can't reflect that. But God has come for each and every one of us, and he has raised up a messenger for me and you, whether you accept him or reject him. You saw some of his great followers and people that stood out. You heard of them. Those are just examples of what he can do for me and you. So you have a place, brothers and sisters. You can walk into the hereafter. You are great. You are from God himself, and he has come for you. See, we don't think that God loves us because we don't love ourselves. You heard the term. How do we say we love God who we don't see every day and hate our brothers and sisters? Oh, how do we say we love God that we have never seen and hate our brother and sister who we see every day? Maybe you don't see the reason why you hate your brothers and sisters, because you don't see the essence of God in each and every one of you. Maybe that's the problem. But once we understand self, we can recognize that. And God will bless us because he came for us. And we will survive. We will cherish those great principles that he's given us. And we will live. But if we reject that which is given to us, death enters. But we can reverse that. And brothers and sisters, that is offered to me and you from God in person through his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I close as I came to you in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, and in the name of his divine servant, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, thank you for listening to what we had to say. I hope you learned something. It wasn't a long speech. It wasn't a long lecture, but I believe it's something that you can carry with you. If you believe in some of the things that we were saying, maybe a few of the things, or some of the things you didn't understand, we invite you to listen to us every Sunday of Muhammad's Sunday lectures. Other ministers will come before you, and they will teach you and offer you that which they have learned themselves. So we invite you again, and you will be giving information on how you can help us further the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We love you all, every one of our people, regardless of who you are and where you are. We love you because that's what God, through his messenger, put into us. So I will close with a prayer. Brothers and sisters, join me in the Muslim closing prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and thee alone do we beseech for aid. Guide us along the right path, along the path of those who thou hast bestowed favors, and not along the path of those whom that wrath is brought down, nor along those who go astray after they've heard that teaching. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He neither begets not, nor is he begotten, that there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be praised or worshipped besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and messenger of Allah. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.